Hexaplex, setting up a manufacturing and operation unit in China. Some key concepts to consider includes recruitment and selection, learning and development, rewards and performance, challenges, and recommendations.
Recruitment and selection are integral functions of international human resource management that can determine the success of an organisation that wants to explore foreign markets. For an Australian business such as Hexaplex to be successful in China, it must understand the differences and similarities between the two cultures when selecting the right talent. It is crucial that the organisation adapts a hybrid approach to recruitment, whereby they use PCNs and HCNs to run the operations in China. More on that later. Recruitment practices differ greatly between Australia and China. Australia is considered to have a highly individualistic culture whereby achievements and career progression is based off individual goals and market value. Hence, candidates are hesitant to take on temporary roles where little career progression is offered. This means they are hesitant on using recruitment agencies and would rather apply directly with the organisation. This provides them more security and better chance of progressing in the organisation. China is considered to have a collectivist culture whereby achievements are collective and loyalty is important. Many Western organizations tend to struggle in the Chinese market, and this makes many HCNs wary when choosing to work for them, as they tend to focus on a collective and long-term oriented approach for their careers. For this reason, they prefer to apply to Western organizations through recruitment agencies, whereby if the organization fails in the Chinese market, the recruitment agency can help place them in a new role. Wolters Kluwer, a company that provides information, software, and services to professionals, is a Western organization that has a great presence in China. The talent acquisition team for the APAC region has over 85% success rate in filling roles within the Australia-New Zealand business and only just under 15% success rate in filling roles in China. They are required to work with recruitment specialists at agencies such as Adecco and Robert Walters to fill these roles. Western organizations rely on recruitment agencies to headhunt their talent in countries like China, as these agencies understand the market well and know how to engage great HCNs and are generally trusted by the community. Certain cultural factors align between Australia and China. Both countries share a masculine approach in their work lives and where there is an emphasis on performance and career progression. Both nations share similar views surrounding recognition, advancement, and progression. This is advantageous for Hexaplex as HR is able to focus on the strengths and work with HCNs to solidify the differences in a way that conserves organizational culture and adapts to the Chinese culture.
Learning and development. Australian companies provide extensive training for their employees. Staff spend more than half of their time in training within their first 3 months of employment. Informal learning and training methods such as on and off the job training is regarded by many businesses and individuals as generally finding it more beneficial to formal classroom training because of practical application, whilst the classroom style is generalised towards attaining paper qualifications. Australian individuals seek training and development with an individualistic approach to gain autonomy and develop and progress their careers. Some of the most important training concepts from an Australian business point of view include communication, team building, and leadership skills, not just technical skills. With current trends towards the greater convergence with Western HRM practices, it is observable that there has been an increasing emphasis on training and career development awareness in China. The higher masculinity also reinforces younger individuals wanting to develop their careers, and research finds that Chinese in foreign invested enterprises have become eager for personal development, indicating a shift from the collectivist values. A survey from Chinese companies suggests that 79% of staff chose on-the-job training as first choice, with 6% choosing off-the-job training. With many years of centralised planned economy, lack of management education, there is a stronger emphasis placed in China on the development of managerial workers. It is understandable that Australian individuals at senior levels would have undergone more training and development compared to China. However, over time, there has been a vast division associated with training and development across Chinese organisations. Most companies have been focusing more on technical skill training. Managerial development is generally gained from local EMBA courses and politically orientated education. So in theory, workers can be promoted as managers, but in practice, this is very difficult and rare in China. Training Chinese staff would require considerations of possible barriers originating from their cultural norms and values. Training techniques including structured classroom instruction, mentoring, stimulation labs, and virtual classes are suggested techniques that could work. These techniques will provide learners with group interaction, peer assistance, and paternalistic support, which is the learning environment traditionally favoured in China.
Reward and performance in Australia and China. The differences include the importance of Guangxi in Chinese culture, the influence of government on reward and performance, and different pay objectives in both countries. In China, Guangxi is an important part of Chinese culture and is used in their everyday lives. It also influences Chinese workplaces where decisions on reward and performance are sometimes made about judgments and interactions rather than results and regulations. There's a greater emphasis on relationships, respect for hierarchy, and orientation towards groups. This is due to the mix of both traditional and Western culture, as there is resistance to change, with some employees hesitant to change to Western reward systems and rather stick to traditional stances. Australia has a regulatory body that focuses on performance management within a business and provides advice to businesses on how to manage it properly and deal with certain situations that may arise, called the Fair Work Commission. Whereas China doesn't. Instead, the government sets certain objectives to local governments concerning performance management on issues such as objectives for pay and job security. The local politicians are meant to enforce this, and if they do well, there's a higher chance that the politician will be promoted, showing some level of corruptibility with focuses on short-term goals taking precedence over long-term objectives, which is a key factor of Chinese society. Pay objectives are different with Chinese people being more people-orientated and like group-related pay for objectives, whereas Australia is more individualistic and rewards are based on individual performance. Chinese employees value service awards for time worked rather than rewards for work in majority of circumstances, as it shows both loyalty and dedication to the company. Some similarities include the use of performance appraisals and Western culture influencing performance-related pay. Both countries conduct performance appraisals in order to measure the achievements of certain individuals, set criteria to both identify positives of the employee's performance and areas of improvement for further training. Australia is results-oriented, and China has a great influence on things such as personal attributes, such as loyalty and obedience. However, the method of delivery is a little bit different, with Australia being very direct, with performance management feedback, and China taking a softer approach, as China's employees tend to see it as a personal attack, whereas Australia see it as a reflection of their performance. Due to the influx of foreign companies entering China, performance-related measures have become influenced by Western culture, such as Australia, to things such as performance-related pay due to objectives being met and goals being met, thus allowing for greater employee satisfaction. There's also a greater focus on these incentive payments to both countries to have an equal great focus on having performance for pay.
The most essential differences in cultures between Australia and China are the concepts of power distance, individualism, long-term orientation, and indulgence. Staffing approaches considered must be a geocentric approach considering the best fit for the job. It is integral to hire PCNs and HCNs into management. The combination of the both will ensure that organisational structure remains prominent and that the company is keeping its culture and strategy, as well as incorporating cultural standards and norms, preventing any forms of cultural shock. A decentralised approach allowing some subsidiary-specific practices and institutional features of the host environment may allow the transfer of HRM practices to be better received to diffuse any cultural conflict. With multiple factors contributing to both standardisation and localisation, it is vital that Hexaplex finds a balance where factors such as company strategies, HRM practices including training and development and recruitment will be standardised. However, with the huge differences in cultural factors such as managerial relationships, reward and recognition initiatives, a level of localisation will need to be maintained.
Some HR challenges include training, recruitment, and rewards.
Cultural training for expatriate HR is also crucial, as it allows them to understand their fellow employees, the local market, and allowing them to adapt easier. It is crucial to create a training plan for this employee that allows them to adjust to the culture shock. If a PCN was put into middle management, they'll need to know how the country works, their laws, and be able to communicate effectively with staff, customers, and the government. A challenge in recruitment for staff in this manufacturing plant is selecting staff using a hybrid approach. This is done through using PCNs in the management team to ensure that ideas and company values are instilled throughout the business with the expansion into China. It is also critical that they are hiring HCNs into middle management as it incorporates the Chinese culture into the business. And a major challenge in terms of rewards for Hexaplex is their ability to provide fair rewards for different employees. A Chinese local employee would have different reward expectations to an extent to an Australian expatriate. For example, while pay for performance is important, they value loyalty from their bosses equally high and believe pay should increase based on service rather than skill. Cultural training for expatriate is also crucial, as it allows them to understand their fellow employees, the local market, and allowing them to adapt.
After extensive research into the similarities and differences between Australia and China within the three main HR functions, it is recommended that Hexaplex should set up a manufacturing plant in China. It is crucial that Hexaplex uses the similarities between the two cultures to its advantage within recruitment, L&D, and rewards and performance to solidify its stance in the market. it is even more integral that they understand the cultural challenges that they face and use the necessary international HRM tools as demonstrated to remain strategic in their HRM operations. We believe with this advice, their operations will thrive in the Chinese market.